What's poppin', what's good, what's poppin', what's good? What is up, beautiful, beautiful colleagues? It's your girl, LaTayshaann, aka the legendary nurse, and welcome back. I call you guys my colleagues because we're on the journey to get to $1 million together. You're gonna do it your way, I'm gonna do it my way, but either way, it's gonna be done, okay? So in this video, I'm about to tell you multiple different side hustles that you can have as a nurse that's gonna have you get into the bag, because you know it's tea when you see them two fingers touching. Okay, first and foremost, you can start a phlebotomy business. So this is going to be like a mobile phlebotomy business. So as nurses, this is not a new skill that you have to learn. You already know how to insert the needle to start IVs, but this time you just gonna be going around and collecting blood. So you're going to make multiple different visits, and you can make $25 to $75 per visit. How long does it really take you to do a stick and do some paperwork? Okay, the driving actually might be the longest part, because we know once you really start drawing the blood, it does not take that long. Okay, if you visited 3 people in an hour, girl, you do the math, okay? So if you want to make it easier for you when you started out, you can partner with lab companies that's already existing. Now, how can this be easier? This is going to be easier because they already have their clientele. You do not have to go out looking for people to partner with. So you're going to call different labs and say, hey, I'm looking for a partnership where I go out and I actually draw the blood and do everything for, mobile, because a lot of these labs are only in-house labs, right? They don't travel from place to place. So that is a service that you're offering, that you're mobile. So they will get more clientele for the people that cannot make it into their lab, and you'll be traveling around and you'll be drawing the blood. So you're going to ask them, like, then we can come up with a deal where I make this and I give you this percentage, and like I said, the benefit is they're getting more clientele to the ones they cannot reach because they're not mobile. And then on top of that, you're getting their existing clientele. You don't have to go find your clientele because you have partnered with a lab that has clientele. Or you can take it a different route and you can be independent. INDEPENT. Girl, you got your own house. You got your own. See, I'm getting carried away. Okay, look. This is what you're going to do. Hold up. Wait a minute. Now, I done dropped some really good tips to you guys. But if you want even more tips, like, check out my freebies below in the link, because I have whole workbooks, worksheets that's going to help you through the process of whatever business, whatever content you want to create. If you become independent, it is obviously going to take a little bit more work. But at the end of the day, you're going to get paid a little bit more because you don't have to split your money with nobody. You obviously have to find clients that need to get their blood drawn, okay? And this is not hard, you guys. The first thing you're going to look as the elderly community are people who are on dialysis. Those are 2 top target markets that you would look at, okay? So now, after you have already collected, you finding your clients where you collect the blood, you still want to make sure that you have some type of deal with the doctors that you're dropping these blood samples, or the labs that you're dropping these blood samples off with. So essentially what I'm saying is, it's going to be different partnerships that you have with the labs, with the urgent cares, with the doctors, whether you go partner with the lab or whether you go independent, because at the end of the day, the blood got to go somewhere. To get started, supplies. It should not take that much when it comes to supplies. You're going to have to get your needles. You can go to a company called Betty Mills. It's actually where I order all our needles and stuff from my school. And they're not that expensive, and they have the actual grade needles, and they have all medical grade supplies, okay? All medical grade supplies that you need to get started. This is how you know it's medical grade, because you can't just go on their website and buy it. No, you're going to have to show proof of your license. I had to show proof of my business to even sign up to purchase off of this site, okay? All right, so that's how you know you're getting all the good stuff. And then when you need to type up contracts and things like that, you better get on our good sister ChatGPT. Chat. Obviously, you're going to make sure you edit it. Don't just be giving these people ChatGPT contracts, okay? But yeah, y'all, that's the first side hustle. You can become a nurse consultant. So this is like, you can be like a legal nurse consultant. And essentially what you are doing is you are reviewing charts for audits. So I would say in order to do this, you have to kind of have a little bit experience in charting, right? I've seen people be like, oh, you could just get on ChatGPT. If it was that simple, then they wouldn't hire legal consultants, right? So you would have to understand when it comes to the verbiage of, oh, can the person be liable for, let's say, death, something happened. So I would say in order to start this business, you are going to have to really know what you're talking about when it comes to nursing and charting, meaning you are going to have to be able to read between the lines, and your consulting is going to have to go up against some lawyers, because essentially that's what you're looking at charts for audits that can go to the state. And we always say charting is a legal document. It can be held and looked at in court, okay? So you can get with different firms, different agencies. This is a job that you can have, or you can start your own firm, reach out to different healthcare law firms, and maybe freelance with your own business. One of the last side hustles is a nurse-led business. Now, what do I mean by that? Girl, I was walking in the mall the other day, just strolling as I went along, and I saw a new piercing company. And I'm like, oh, that looks pretty cool. But I was just reading the signs, and one of the biggest marketing ploys they had was pierced by nurses, licensed nurses. That's what it said. And I'm like, what would that matter? Because I'm a nurse, right? And I'm like, what does that matter? See, I've had a med spa before, and we did ombre brows, which was tattooing. And in order to get my facility license, I had to go to the health department. So I know when it comes to piercings and tattoos, it is not something that you have to have a nursing or any type of healthcare license for, unless you're talking about the blood-borne pathogen certificate that they must hold, right? So I'm like, oh, that is really essentially just a marketing ploy. That is basically just trying to, not trying, but it's, most people think nurses and doctors have more knowledge than the general population, more healthcare knowledge than the general population. So what I get from that, I feel like they're basically saying like, you're getting pierced by a nurse. We know all the healthcare protocols. We know all the safety protocols. It's just an additional marketing ploy, even though you do not have to be a nurse to do piercings. So when I say a nurse-led business, I mean a skincare business where you market it as nurse-led. You did the research. I mean a hair care business, nurse-led, where you did all the research. Any type of business where you can actually do research and you can put nurse-led to show, I guess, studies of the difference that if a nurse does it and a nurse didn't do it. I just found that very interesting, because I'm like, so a piercer, right? Right, a piercer, but they business was bunking, okay? It was bunking. It was people in there. So I'm guessing just the general population in their mind, and when it comes to a piercing to avoid infection, or maybe even a tattoo to avoid infection, they're going to trust like a nurse more than they're going to trust a regular, degular, schmegular person, okay? And then the last one that is so easy, which I feel like don't nobody talk about. So there are so many, okay, professions where you need shadowing hours. So physician assistant one, right? Or you need letters of recommendation. What I would do is start a business, like a network. Oh, I'm giving y'all all the tea. So I would start like a network. And in this network, it would connect people who give letters of recommendation with people who need letters of recommendation. And how I would do this, or even shadowing hours, right? How I would do this is, there's no rule against, oh, you cannot get paid for this letter of recommendation. What I would do is maybe put it in a bundle where you get the 96 hours that you need. You have to, of course, pay for yourself to get here, and you can come and you can shadow. And from there, I give you the letter of recommendation. Or I would do it where we have to have multiple study sessions or multiple sessions together or something. And from there, I can decide if you deserve a letter of recommendation and you have to submit this and that. But what you would do is, like I said, you would simply set up the network so you can meet the person that needs the recommendation along with the person that gives the letter of recommendation. And like I said, you got to be careful. You cannot just have where people are just paying for a letter of recommendation. It has to be some type of work in for them to want to give them that letter of recommendation. But I mean, it would not be that hard to find doctors willing to give, our physician assistants, our healthcare workers willing to give that letter of recommendation, because there are so many healthcare workers looking for some money, okay, some extra source of income. And I know when I was starting my medical spot, I used to think, oh, it's gonna be so hard for me to find a doctor that want to do this. Wrong. It was so many doctors lined up, because just like us, doctors, we want to make some extra money too without having to clock in, okay? Doctors are human too. They want some bread too, okay? Get that bread, get that head, and then leave. And that's what I'm about to do. I'm about to leave. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for being here. I'm going to talk to y'all beautiful, beautiful colleagues later. Bye.